Hello, ladies and gentlemen. On this edition of Real Talk with B, we will preview the 2020-2021 NBA season, and we will preview slash discuss the World Series versus that is the Washington Nationals versus the Houston Astros. Now, the NBA season. According to the book of Corinthians, chapter 2, chapter 5, Corinthians chapter 2, second book Corinthians chapter 5, verse 17. Therefore, anyone in Christ, he is a new creation. The new has come, he is a new creation. The old has gone, the new has come. And in this particular juncture, with the NBA, you've got a bunch of teams going on here. You have about 3 or 4 that I can roll off. In the East, you got Milwaukee, Philadelphia, Boston, and give or take, it could be between Toronto and Orlando. Now, in this particular juncture, you have the Celtics, and they got the Kemba Walker. They lost out Horford, the Sixers. There's been a transition Milwaukee. Milwaukee no longer has Brogdon. They lost Lopez, but they re-signed Middleton. They also lost Mirotic, but they're still going to compete. And then you have like a team like you have a team like Orlando with Forney and Vujacic and that coach that they have there that right now doesn't doesn't register, but he's a good coach. And simply, it's one of those deals where you got those things going on there, which really be helpful at this point. So you have Boston and their structure without Kyrie Irving anymore. You have Milwaukee and their experience last year, and you have Boston, Milwaukee. You have Philadelphia with Horford, with Embiid, etc. And you have Richardson that he came in from Miami, so you have a lot of things going on. So I could have Miami, but I'm thinking Orlando can sneak in there. Toronto's gonna have a tough time about it, but it's between really Philadelphia, Milwaukee, and Boston. Those 3 in the East, and then the West you have you have Denver. You have the Clippers. You have the Lakers. You can throw in, give and take. You can throw in Portland. You can throw in San Antonio. You can throw even Dallas. Now, in terms of the Lakers, with LeBron, Anthony Davis, they got a team that's pretty stacked. From many years ago, there'd be an overall favorite. But ultimately, it's something that's going to be a work in progress. As long as we put more points, it's going to be methodical. It's going to be positional and stuff like that. And when you got the Clippers, they got George, they got Leonard, they got defense, they got Harkless from Portland, and etc. You got Portland with their Nurkic back. You got the Joker in Denver. You got Porzingis and Doncic and Dallas. So you got a plethora of stuff. So and you also got the Spurs, the veteran bunch. So ultimately, it's really between the Clippers and the Lakers and Denver. And then you can sprinkle the aforementioned teams that I mentioned. Now, we have the World Series. Now, the first book of Corinthians, chapter 9, verse 25, talks about, verse 25 talks about anyone who competes in the games, they do it to get a crown that will not last, but we do it to get a crown that lasts forever. So, anyone, 1 Corinthians chapter 9, verse 25, anyone who competes in the games goes into strict training. They do it to compete for a crown that will not last, but we do it for a crown that will last forever. 1 Corinthians chapter 5, I mean chapter 9, 1 Corinthians chapter 9 verse 25 is the verse I just mentioned. And that in itself tells you what this is. The World Series is, they're competing for a crown, like the championship. You know, the individuals, they do it to get themselves ready as a collective. But they all do it for a crown, which is a championship, to remember in history that, oh, we did the championship. So you have, you know, the Nationals with their team when they have the pitching of Scherzer, Strasburg, Corbin, and Anibal Sanchez. Their bullpen's okay, decent, you know, a little shaky. And you got the Astros with no lefties, all righties, and you got Greinke, you got Cole, you got Verlander, and it's a heavy set of a team offensively with the small ballpark. I think that, you know, I like what the Nationals are doing, especially with the young guy Soto, the way he's performed during the postseason. I like I like the defense. I think Rendon's playing good at third base. Houston has the experience in terms of how they've been there, but I think the Nationals are peaking right now. So if I had to give and take, I like the Nationals, even though, you know, the Astros are a much heavier team, and they're more in sync. But in this particular situation, you know, you have the Nationals who are competing at such a level that, you know, they can win this thing. So, you know, it's a pick'em series, but I'm liking what I'm seeing from the Nationals in terms of defense, in terms of the peaking at the right time, and what they can do in terms of, you know, the toughness that they're demonstrating. So I think there's a really, really good matchup that we're watching. If you're a baseball fan, just neutral observer, you're gonna like it because it's pitching and defense, and it's high intensity, it's strategical, and you're not gonna see the video game-istic home runs that you see during the regular season. So you want to keep that in mind as you're watching the games, and you're saying to yourself, wow, this is really good. So I encourage you to check it out if you're a baseball fan in general, because there's some high competitive games here. And yeah, that's what it's about, man. You know, in faith, you know, we compete as I mentioned, but it's about the crown that will last as a collective together. So that's ultimately what this is about. So this is all for today's video. This has been Real Talk with B. Blessings. Until the next jive.